Many companies think custom software is too expensive for their business. This is simply untrue. Once your business reaches sustainability, custom software can really decrease risk, increase profits, and improve processability. I'm going to go through 5 reasons why custom software is now more affordable than ever. I'm Matt Grace, Managing Director of Flying Donkey. Let's get into it. Custom software is more affordable than ever, and here's 5 reasons why. Firstly, the explosion of the SaaS market. Secondly, existing coding frameworks are now better than ever. Thirdly, greater consumer knowledge on how things work and should work. Fourth, greater access to talent all around the world. And finally, the changing landscapes of licensing. We're going to take a closer look at each one of these and how they come together to make custom software more affordable for every business. The use of software as a service. Software as a service is simply a monthly recurring fee you pay to a business to do a service for you. In the custom software world, what this means is there's huge chunks of your functionality that you can now outsource to these software as a service platforms, and therefore you don't need to build them in-house, and thus reduce cost when building your custom software system. Let's take email for example. SendGrid is one of the providers of a software as a service platform. It allows you to send transactional emails at scale. Previously, if you wanted to integrate sending email into your application, you would have had a huge amount of time to build your server, manage it, and set up all the code to send those emails. Now you simply integrate into SendGrid's API and pay a small fee per month, and you're away to go. It's quicker to market and cheaper to develop, and that's why it's been a huge impact in the custom software world. Number 2, existing frameworks are just getting better and better. To understand this, you have to understand how code is developed. When you're developing code, you're not coding in zeros and ones, you're coding in the English language. And there's various layers of code that sits underneath this that have been written by previous people. These are generally called libraries, and they hold a range of functionality. These days, companies like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft release their libraries out in open source areas. And what this means is all the functionality that's been written can be reused at a fraction of the time than writing it from scratch. If we take an example here of creating a button. 20 years ago when you tried to put a button on the screen, you had to interact directly with the screen and tell the pixels when to turn on and off. This is a very complex and long-winded process and meant that putting a button on a screen was very onerous. These days, using these frameworks, you can simply call new button and the button will appear on the screen. It's really only up to you to determine the size, color, and location of the button, which is simply done by 1 or 2 lines of code. By using the expanding functionality of these frameworks, it means developing code is now being quicker and easier than ever, and thus, reducing the time will reduce the cost in developing your custom software platform. Greater consumer knowledge. This one might not be intuitive at first thought, but if you think about it, 20 years ago, people didn't know what software could and couldn't do, and therefore it was very difficult for them to articulate what they wanted the software to do. These days, as apps and software is ubiquitous, every consumer who wants to potentially build a piece of software can very easily articulate what they want to do. This means it's far easier and quicker to drill down to exactly what the customer wants and build exactly what the customer is after. Couple this with brainstorming and prototyping, we can show and deliver for the client much quicker. And obviously delivery to market means there's less cost in building custom software and the client will end up getting the functionality they need quicker. Greater access to talent. The internet is an amazing thing, but one of the things it has done is bring everyone closer together. It's important to note that coding languages are generally all in English. So for example, C#, which is written by Microsoft in America, is an English-based coding language. If you're sitting in China or Eastern Europe, you'll still code in this English language. So what this means is that no matter where you're around the world and where you're developing, you're still developing in the same coding language. And what this means is that all this talent around the world can be pulled together to build great software. At the same time, with different costs of living around the world, it enables you to bring great talent around the world together at affordable costs. Deliver great products for clients. Previously, if you wanted to develop custom software, you would have to find that talent within your local area, and this was potentially challenging. With high demand in a small area, you're going to be paying a lot more money. But with a greater reach now across the world and talent from anywhere you can use, this means that the overall cost to employ someone to develop custom software has come down. This same tactic is used by existing vendors who build out-of-the-box software, and they use developers from all around the world to build their software, thus bringing their cost base down as well. And you can leverage this same model by employing someone who develops custom software for you. Change in licensing fees. It wasn't that long ago that you used to pay a once-off license fee for software and that was done. Now software has come to a recurring based model where you pay each year for that license. In some enterprise settings, this can be hundreds of thousands to potentially millions of dollars per year that you're paying just to license the software. That's a lot of software that you could develop yourself. If you develop custom software, the IP is yours. There's no license fees and there's no maintenance fees. On top of that, potentially if you build a great piece of software, you may be able to license this onwards and bring yourself a new revenue stream. All this coupled together means that licensing fees have increased while developing software has actually decreased. And thus that makes custom software more affordable for many businesses. To summarize this, we've had a look through a few reasons why custom software is now more affordable than ever. With the use of SaaS and existing libraries, building software is not from scratch anymore. You're using existing functionality and simply pulling it together. With great access to talent around the world and consumers knowing exactly what they want out of a piece of software, delivery of custom software is far quicker and easier than ever. Coupled with the changing landscape of licensing, it can actually be cheaper in the long run to build custom software yourself rather than be hooked into a vendor and pay those recurring license fees. And as a bonus, bonus, you may even be able to license this out to other clients and give yourself a new revenue stream. Now you understand why custom software is more affordable than ever. And if you're looking to use custom software in your business, feel free to reach out and discuss with us, as we'd be happy to help.